Hi there, and welcome to the Web Dev Room. This is Jeff Wood, and I'm going to be guiding you through this second webinar on working with the CSU Extension eStore. We're going to be doing a lot of kind of picking up the stuff that fell through the cracks today of just aspects of the CSU Extension eStore we did not get to last time. We'll start with a recap where we talk about the four main things we learned in our last session, so you can learn everything in this one session, hopefully. We'll then go to and talk about GL codes, about discounts, about refunds, about sales reports, and EOD or end of day reports. You have the chat pod over there on the right if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and get started. So a recap of what we did last time. There are two servers, not one, the test server and then the production server. The test server is your playground, your sandbox. You can use the test server to figure out how the eStore works, make mistakes in there, and set up your product until it's exactly the way you like it. Once you're done with that test store playing around, you can go to the production store and actually set up your product, and that's the store that the end user will see. We also talked about adding categories and subcategories, adding products, and adding attributes. So let's go ahead and jump into the recap of our last session. So again, I said pretty much all this already. There's two eStores. There's the sandbox, which is the test server, and then there's the production server, which is what the public sees and how the public can actually buy things. So let's quickly show you both of these. So they look quite similar. This one is the test store, and we know that simply because the word test here in the URL. So after the HTTPS extension dash Colorado State test, no dot, no space, no underscore, .nbsstore.net. This is the test server. The actual server is here, the extension dash Colorado State no test nbsstore.net. So and that's the production server. I have seen mistakes take place or test items here on the actual production store, so make sure you are working in the proper store when you are on the eStores. I'm actually going to take down this production store, so we're just dealing with the test store here. So that's test server, production server. Let me go back to our PowerPoint and we'll keep going. So we'll start by setting categories. Okay, this is the first thing you need to do whenever you're setting up the eStore. You set your main category. Typically, that's going to be your county or your group that you're in. You then can set subcategories within that category, say things like workshops, master gardeners, fees, that kind of things, t-shirts, coffee mugs, that kind of thing. You only have to do this once per category and per subcategory. But this is your first step in getting involved in the eStore. Now, I'm not going to go through all the permutations here, but primarily what you need to worry about is the name and the description. The picture, this is typically going to be a logo for your main category. And then you're going to set your parent category. Now, for your main category, which generally is going to be your county, your parent category is merely counties. After you add that parent category or that main category, so we're going to be using Wapello as it's a fictional county that I use for test sessions. So after we set up in counties our main category of Wapello, you set up a subcategory by choosing counties and your county as your parent category. So in this case, counties and Wapello would be your parent category for the subcategory of workshops. And if that's confusing, we'll look at that in just a second and see how it's done. Also remember that limited to stores, limited to stores is an option you have there in the dialog box for categories. Should be the CSU Extension eStore in the production store, simply extension in the test store, so they're slightly different. With all that said, let's build a category and a subcategory. So I'm going to go back to our main screen here. We are in our test server. I'm going to go to administration here, up top to get to my dashboard. And categories is under catalog. So we go to catalog and we go to categories. We're going to set a main category and a subcategory. So we'll click Add New. And this will again be for our fictional county of Wapello. So the name is Wapello County Test Site. You can put in the description here if you like. Descriptions are more important on your products than they are for the actual categories. If you would like a picture, again, this is typically going to be your county logo or the logo of your group. Because Wapello is a fictional county, I'm going to upload just a general CSU Extension picture. Our parent category we discussed earlier in our PowerPoint. This is going to be county. And these are not alphabetical. It's about 2/3 of the way down. Or I'm sorry, counties, not county. So our parent category is counties. You can set a price range here if you like. You can show this on the home page if you like. I wouldn't include it in the top menu. You can allow your customers to get your page size. We'll talk about discounts in just a bit. You can limit this to specific kinds of customers like forum moderators, guests, school admins, and so on. Limited to stores is very important. And in this case, again, because we're in the test store, this will be extension. And this is also about 2/3 of the way down. And not to beat a dead horse, but in the actual production store, you choose CSU Extension e-store here. If you click publish, that means as soon as you hit save, this is going to be published as an item there on the store. So if you're not ready or you're working on it over the course of a few days, make sure you unclick that publish so that you don't publish automatically as soon as you hit save. And with that said, we'll hit save. And this will take a few seconds apparently. We're going to add a subcategory next. We're also going to go to that Add New. And this is going to be the subcategory of workshops within Wapello County. So I'll put in the first few letters. So Wapello County Workshops will be our name. I'm not going to bother with a description, though you should feel free. I'm not going to bother with a picture. Our parent category, again, is extremely important. This time it's not going to be counties, but counties and Wapello, that main category we just set up. And we can see right here is counties and Wapello County. So that's the parent category for our subcategory. We don't want this on the home page. I'm not going to include it in the top menu. And the only other thing is to, again, limit this to a specific store, in this case, extension. And yet again, CSU Extension e-store is what you choose on the actual production server. Go up here and click Save. And we have our category and our subcategory for our product. So that takes us to products. So let's go back to our PowerPoint and start talking about adding a product. So you go to category, product, and add new. There are a ton of options on this page, so don't be overwhelmed. You can just go through them one by one and figure them out. I'm just going to hit the main ones today because we're teaching a bunch of other different things today. But if you go to my previous webinar on the CSU eStore, I talk about products in a lot more detail. For today, I'll simply point out, you put in the name, you put in the short description. The short description is going to be displayed on the category page. You can go ahead and be short and succinct there on the short description. The full description, however, is going to be right next to your product and right next to that buy button. So you're going to have to give that end user pretty much all the information they need there on that full description. So take some time to make sure you are giving them a useful description that contains all the information they might need. Publish, we discussed before. If you have a publish checked, and it is by default, as soon as you hit save, this is going to go up on the storefront. And finally, mappings. We discussed this already. You map to your specific category and subcategory, in this case, counties, Wapello. And then limited to stores will be extension on our test server, CSU Extension eStore on the production server. So with all that said, let's, we're actually not going to build a product, but we're going to look at an existing product I've already set up. So we'll do a share to our screen. We're going to go to categories and products this time. Now we have a pre-existing product. My internet connection is a little bit slow today, so bear with me. Here we are in products. So I'm going to search for this simply using product name and just the first 4 letters of that product. And I'll search. And here is our WordPress workshop. The price is $25. Stock quantity, meaning the number of people who can be, number of seats available in that workshop is 25. Simple product, and it's published. So let's edit it so we can take a look at what's inside. So we're choosing simple as our product type as opposed to a group of products. Product template will also be specific product. Here's our product name, the short description, which shows up next to the category where you can be short and succinct. Then the full description where you really need to give that end user everything they know, because that's the last description they're going to see before they click that add to cart button. You don't need an SKU. You don't need a GTIN number. You don't need a manufacturer's part number. The unique identifier we're using for products in CSU Extension is the GL code, and we'll get to that in just a second. You can leave all the other identifiers here blank if you like. If you have these numbers and you want to include them, you absolutely can. Published will stay checked. We have some product tags here: web design, WordPress, CSU, and extension. We don't want to show this on the home page. You can allow customer reviews. Be aware that means you need to moderate those comments from time to time. You can give start dates and end dates here if you like. I'll change this end date to something a little more in the future. Admin comment is just for interior use. If somebody else is working on this, you can put a comment in there. I'm not going to go into all these, but be aware, and these are all covered in my previous webinar on e-stores. You can work with gift cards, downloadable products, recurring products, rentals. You set your price right here. This is set at $25. You'll see when we do a preview of this fairly soon that I have an old price of $35 that will show up as crossed out there on the website so they can see that the price has been taken down. You deal with tax issues right here, whether it's tax exempt, what tax category they are in, and discounts we'll talk about in just a second. You can add a discount right here. Currently, there's not a discount on here. In the upper right, I'll spend a little bit of time on this. We are using the track inventory option. This is a workshop, so there are 25 seats available, and if we use track inventory and set our stock quantity at 25, and then choose display availability and display stock quantity, that's going to let the end user know how many seats are left in that workshop. In addition, if you set your notify for quantity below 1, you'll get an email saying that it's full up, and low stock activity, which is 0, it will disable that buy button so nobody else can buy a ticket to that workshop. We'll not go over the rest of these. You can work with shipping options here if you like. You can make this specific to certain kinds of customers like guests, forum moderators, and so on. You can acquire other products. And then finally, once you save this product, you can add related products and add cross-sells to that product. We will simply click Save. And let's go back to our PowerPoint and continue. That's how to add a product. Now we're going to add attributes to a product. Product attributes are quantifiable, descriptive products of aspects of a product, what color the product's going to be, what size the large, extra large for a shirt a product may be. Attributes can also be used to get information from the end user, their first and last name, their email address. In our case, if they're going to be bringing a laptop, if they need a name tag, that kind of thing. Now you add existing product attributes, and if you look through them, there are a huge number of existing attributes available to you. Catalog, product attributes, and then you simply add a new attribute there. Something I'm not going to demo today because it was already confusing once. but you can go back to my previous webinar and look at it, is you can add new product attributes at catalog attributes, product attributes, and add new. So let's look at existing attributes, and we can add some to our product, and then we will do a quick preview of our product. So let's go back to the eStore, and we'll quickly look up our product again. I'm just typing in the first 4 letters. Here's our WordPress workshop. I'm going to click edit again. This will be the same page we were looking at previously. And now we're going to go to these tabs up here. So we discussed this page already, product info. SEO, I'll quickly discuss here. Here are our meta keywords, WordPress, web design, workshops, Wapello County, CSU Extension. Here's a meta description, a meta title, and a search engine friendly page name, which is essentially based off the meta title. And you kind of want all these things to line up in terms of search engine optimization. Your keyword, your description, your title, and your search engine friendly page name should be containing the same keywords and the same general ideas and topics. Pictures, which is the 3rd tab over, allows you to add up to 5 pictures of your product. And then finally, we get to product attributes, which is what we came here for in the first place. I'm going to quickly delete this one so we can add it later. So bear with me. So this product currently has 3 attributes, and we'll see these in effect in just a couple seconds. Attendee's name is an attribute, and then the text prompt I have added, what's your first and last name, something we want to know for our workshop. Email is the next attribute, and our text prompt that the end user sees, what is the best email address for you to be contacted. And then finally, bring computer, will you be bringing your own computer? We can provide one at a cost of $5. The price is automatically adding $5 if they're not bringing a computer. Again, I don't have time to teach this today, but that's previous. You'll see that in the previous webinar, and we'll see it demoed today anyway, what the final result is. These are all 3 required questions. Let's say we want to add name tags, a name tag option as an attribute for this product. We will go to add a new attribute. And then this pull down at the top, you can choose from a huge number of attributes, what accessibility needs they might need, additional parking permits, their address, and so on. We're going to go down quite a ways until we get to name badge. So that's our attribute. Our text prompt is what name would you like on your name tag. We're not going to make this required. Our control type will be a simple text box. We don't need to worry about display order or a minimum or maximum length. By the way, display order 0 is 1, and then you move up from there. So we'll save this attribute, our 4th attribute now on this product, and then we'll look at it. So we have a preview button here. Notice the 4th attribute has been saved. It's not required, so there's an X right here. We'll click preview. And again, we're quite slow, so bear with me. Try that one more time. And yeah, we're slow today, so bear with me while this comes up. I might save this for a little bit later in the tutorial if we don't get something up soon. Okay, I'm not going to bother with this now, but the product asks what their name is, what their email address is. If they're not bringing their own computer, so they check no, the cost automatically goes from $25 to $30, and then it asks what they would like on their name tag. And now we have our preview. So here's our product, the WordPress workshop test. Here is the description. Our availability is 25 in stock. That was the stock availability option we had there on the product page, the place for their first and last name, the place for their best email address to be put. We'll say that they want to watch the price here. As I click no, it goes up to $30. That's something you can do in attributes. And again, look at the previous webinars recording, learn how to do that, and the name they'd like on their name tag. So those are the 4 attributes we've set up for this product. Now, when we've got that taken care of, let's go back to our PowerPoint and jump onto some new topics. And if you have any questions, please use the chat pod. GL codes are next. This is the unique identifier that we're using to identify all our products in the CSU Extension eStore. You could have other identifiers if you like, but you've got to work with GL codes. You go to Catalog, GL codes, Product GL codes, and then click the Edit button to add one. As I said, this is a unique identifier for each product. It consists of an account number of 7 letters, dash, and a sub-account number of 5 letters. The 7 numbers, that account number, are your counties or your group's main account number. After the dash, the 5 letters, the sub-account number that follows that account number is their letters that they identify your county and your product, sort of like an acronym. And if we look at this example, this GL code is MGTRN, and this is for Master Gardener's Training. So MGTRN stands for Master Gardener Training. In this case, it has the same account number, and the sub-account number here is FHENR for 4-H enrollment, I assume. So notice our account numbers are the same, but our sub-account numbers are different. Now you can come up with these GL codes on your own, and feel free to do so, but if you're unsure about any aspect of it, or you just want to get, to be told that your GL code is okay, I'd contact Fiscal. Jana's the best person to contact, and I'll give you her contact information at the end of this. So let's next show you how to add a GL code. You don't do it from the product screen, oddly enough, but from Catalog, GL codes, Product GL codes. So again, we need to look up our product. I'm using the first 4 letters of Word. Here's our product. Here's our blank GL code. So if I click Edit, I simply put the GL code in here. If we search for instead, say, Douglas County, we can see there are 3 GL codes in operation here. The MG due is for Master Gardener's dues. The MGTRN is for Master Gardener Training, and that's the same one up here. And again, these are in the test store, which is why they have 2 identical GL codes here. So click that Edit button to change a GL code or add a GL code. We'll go back to our PowerPoint. Discounts are next. This involves a couple of steps. It's a little bit like attributes. You use an existing one or add a new one. You name your discount. You assign the discount type you'll use will be assigned a product. You can choose a percentage or a flat amount. You can choose a coupon code if you like, a date range if you like, and you can also limit the total discount available here. You're not done yet. After you save that discount, you got to go back into your products and add that discount name to your product. So there's a 2-step process. The first, let me do a share. Once again, we're going to first go to promotions, about halfway down, and discounts. And here are a number of pre-existing, there's 2 pages of these, of pre-existing discounts. You can certainly use one of these, or you can create your own. I'll call this WordPress discount. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got to search. So I don't want to do this. I want to instead add new. So under discounts, we're clicking add new. Our name will be WordPress discount. our discount type, we're going to assign this to product, which is why we have to go back and add this to the product page. When we're done, you can use either percentages by checking this box or a raw amount. I'm simply going to use 10 for $10 as USD right here. You can require a coupon code if you like. So word that could be our coupon code. We can add start or end dates. We can make this cumulative with other discounts. We can have an unlimited discount limitation or a specific number of times total, specific number of times per customer. And then we can also add a maximum discounted quantity. We'll simply add the WordPress discount of $10. We'll click Save. And then our second step is to go back and add that to the product page. So we're going to go back to Catalog. We're going to go to Products. We're going to again search for that WordPress workshop right here. We'll click Edit. And on the first column, about 2/3 of the way down, we have discounts right here. And if I start to type in WordPress, I see my WordPress discount right here. We'll click Save, and that will add a discount if they bring in the production or the coupon code. Again, you have any questions, use the chat pod. I will jump back to the PowerPoint and keep going. Sales reports. You go to sales, then orders. There are a lot of filters here, and this is really useful for searching for specific orders. You can filter by date range, by order status, by the store, by any billing info you might happen to have. This is going to return order information to you, a ton of customer information, and a ton of sensitive customer information, though not the credit card number. But please keep these to yourselves, and that there's a lot of sensitive information on there. You can either export this to Excel or print invoices and packing slips. And an important thing to remember about the sales category here is that you use this for refunds. So you look up a specific order in sales, that you can give them a full or partial refund. So let's see how that's done. We'll go back to our screen. This time we're going to go down to sales and orders. And here we are. So there are a number of filters to find a specific order. Let's just choose a date range. And now let's choose something specific. My apologies. Let's go to product again. And let's look up some Douglas County. Look at Master Gardener renewal fees. So here we have 4 orders right here. Let's say this is the one we're looking for with testy. We'll go to view. Let's say testy called, and they want a refund on this order. So you can cancel the order up here on this order. You can edit the order details, so you can change order subtotals, shipping costs, order discounts, order tax, and so on. So you could actually give an after-the-fact discount here if you liked. The main reason I'm on this page, however, is at the bottom here. You can offer a full refund. You can mark this as having been refunded fully and then manually give them the refund using offline. You can give them a partial refund, or again, mark this as a partial refund and then offline manually actually give them that refund. So that's how to look up specific sales order, and I'm mentioning this primarily as a way to show you the easiest way to work with refunds. Go back to our PowerPoint. I'm not going to bother demoing this. I'm just showing you this as another way to look up specific orders. You go to customers and then the customers category within customers. This gives you a very similar set of filters as sales does. So this is useful for looking for individual customers and individual orders. However, you can't issue a refund from here. You look by first name, last name, phone, even IP address on this page. And here are the last 4 things we'll deal with today. These are all under the reports category, and these are mostly end-of-day reports. The end-of-day order detail allows you to filter by date range in store, adds all the order details together. So if they bought 6 things in that one trip to the e-store, they'll all show up as one line in that order detail. This gives you very detailed customer and billing information, does not give you GL codes, does not give you attributes. So don't use this report if you're looking for either GL codes or attributes. It does give you a ton of other data, however. So we'll go back to these. Now let's go ahead and deal with all 4 of these, and then we'll show all 4. The EOD line item detail gives you individual transactions. So if somebody bought 6 things in one day, unlike the order detail report, this will show you all 6 things. It's not as detailed, though it does include the GL report, the GL code. And this is a really useful report, in my personal opinion. This gives you all the necessary information you'd like, except attributes. EOD summary simply gives you price and a GL code, so very simple and succinct there. And then finally, this is not an end-of-day report, but order attributes, particularly useful if you're running something like a workshop and you need a list of names, a list of name tags, a list of email addresses, that kind of thing, and particularly if you need them in an Excel format. The order attributes option is where to get that. So with all that said, let's jump into the e-store one last time and go through our end-of-day reports. So here's reports. Here are 3 EOD reports and then the order attributes form. So here's our order detail report. You don't have a lot of filters here. We're simply going to work with a start date and an end date and see what we get. Again, this is the test store, so we're not going to see a lot here in terms of orders, but we certainly will see a few. So we're going to open this in Excel. And we'll slide it over here. Let me enable editing. So quick trick, though you probably already know this, if you go to the upper left-hand corner between the rows and the columns, click there and then choose the right wall of that first column. That will expand all your columns out so you can see everything in them. Useful things here: transaction types, transaction dates, order amounts. You get a ton of information here. This is a very detailed report with a lot of sensitive customer data. We're not looking at sensitive customer data now because we're in the test store, but be aware that this order detail report gives you exactly that, a lot of order details, though not credit card numbers. So that is an EOD order detail. Let's next go to the line item detail report. This isn't as detailed, but it does include the GL codes. We're going to see a lot of not real GL codes here because we're in the test store and folks are kind of practicing in here. We'll again open the Excel. And here we are. This gives us well, let's first expand out all the columns here. So this gives us the transaction type, date, GL code. These are not the actual GL code configurations that we use, the amount, the quantity, product name, and product short description. So this is a lot less detailed, a lot more succinct. This does give you the GL code. We will keep going. The EOD summary is really a summary, and it simply gives you the price and the GL code. I think a couple of other things as well, like date. So we'll quickly choose most of this month, export it to Excel, and open it. And here, as we said before, let's quickly expand all these out. GL code, the amount spent, business unit, meaning what store it's from, origin, client ID, and the file name. And then finally, order attributes. Again, this is particularly useful, the order attributes report, particularly useful if you're working with attributes for something like, say, a workshop. You simply choose your start and end dates in this case. And you can run this report and it shows up down here. Not a really easy way to work with the data, so I would suggest exporting this to Excel as well. Open it. And here we can see everything that the customer has added, either when they were filling out their customer information or when they were adding attributes, attribute information that they were asked. So we can see we have their email, phone number, address, and a lot of billing information here. So that is how to work with order attributes. And that is the last report that we'll be working with today. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you for attending, and we'll see you next month, and we'll start working with Canva. If you have any questions that occur to you about the CSU Extension eStore, please feel free to email me. Our resources here available to you. I have several tutorials here at this URL, which is my training site. Don't need a password for this. If you have questions about the eStore, this is my email address. If you have any physical questions, particularly questions about GL codes, you can email Jana Smilinich Rose with this email address right here. Thank you for attending. Email if any questions occur to you, and we'll see you next month.